need to figure it out. And you can say that I'm crazy, that you're thinking already, but I'm telling you, baby, yeah, get up and get out. Get up and get out. Yeah. And you can say that I'm crazy, that you're thinking already, but I'm telling you, baby. And you can say that I'm crazy, that you're thinking already.
And now it's time to get unmasked. Please welcome your host, Pamela Elaine Nichols and Cheryl A.S. Haley.
Well, we're together again.
Not singing. She's just going to do the singing. We're together.
We're together again. How you doing? How you doing, Cheryl? Nice to see you.
Hey there, Pamela Lane. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. It's nice to see everyone out there in social media land. Welcome to Unmasked, Real Talk Live. This is the place where we get real about topics not often discussed openly. And we do this because we are committed. Cheryl and I are committed to you feeling better, looking better, and living better, because that's what we want for ourselves. We know that's what God wants for you. So we're here trying to just facilitate that thing. All right. So today's raffle is a 1-hour coaching session with Cheryl and me, who will laser coach you in an area of your choice as it relates to being present for yourself. Now, you just need to know that we are two coaches with one focus, and that's on you and you getting your breakthrough. That's what we want. So spend an hour with us. I promise you, I promise you this. You spend an hour with Cheryl and me, you're going to have a whole new mindset about who you are, why you matter, and how good enough you really are. Okay, right, Cheryl?
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna toot our own horn, because we've had enough students that said y'all can bring it. So
Yes.
we're letting our praises be in the lips of others.
Yes.
But we still gonna let you know we're pretty confident that we can be extremely helpful to you. All right, so this week's challenge will be dropped in our private Facebook group. Be sure to post your comments to the challenge before next Tuesday, when we come back together on Real Talk Live. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it over to you, Cheryl, because we got a topic today that I think is extremely interesting.
Absolutely. And today's topic is mindful me time moments, being present with me, myself, and I. Now, there's a quote from yours truly that says, an awareness of the present empowers you to anchor yourselves in the now moment. Now, when we think about it, as a result of our busy lives and the relentless, and when I say relentless, I mean relentless demands on our time, we might find ourselves operating on what we call autopilot. Specifically, we might find ourselves thinking about the next responsibility we have rather than taking a moment to just simply be grateful for the moment we are in then. How many of you, and I pose this question, how many of you have been in the middle of doing something and completely forgot about what you were doing?
Me.
I know, raise my hand. That's right, Pam. I can raise my hand too. Sadly, this is often the result of our not taking time to meditate on the present task and all that it entails. My old mantra used to be, I got to get this done by. How many of you have said that? Or who else is going to do it? Although this is true in many instances, more than we probably care to say, it does not substantiate or negate the fact that we don't prioritize our precious me time moments for ourselves enough. Unplugging and unwinding from our busy lives take regular, uninterrupted me time. By doing so, we are able to sleep better, and we all need some sleep, control our moods better. We all can have to temper our moods, and we also can increase our patience as well as live in the moment. Now, consider the downsides of not practicing me time moments mindfully. Increased headaches. Oftentimes, we're talking about headaches. Look at where it's coming from: stomach aches, increased irritability, increased stress, difficulty falling or staying asleep, or binge eating, or increase in unhealthy eating habits. Wow. Having
Mm.
all of these experiences plus some, they actually led me to the value of taking what we call me time moments. One of my symptoms was elevated blood pressure, just to name a few, which was my first wake up call. High blood pressure is not only the cause by sodium rich foods and beverages. Staff at the Mayo Clinic, they have stated that stress can raise blood pressure dramatically. Just think about that stress. That means that when we're worried about this, that, and the other thing, it's also elevating our blood pressure. However, when stress is gone, blood pressure does return to normal. Heart attacks, strokes, and kidney damages may occur over time as a result of, listen to this, short spikes in blood pressure. The damage is like the damage from long term high blood pressure. Now, many of you are probably wondering, well, what exactly is me time moments? To put it simply, me time happens when you take intentional, and I mean intentional breaks from people, from places, and things. It by no means indicates that you don't like them, you don't love them, or that these things are not important. The practice of selfish generosity, as my partner in love, Pamela Lane, calls it, is what you devote yourself to. Pam, when you think about all of this, because a lot has just been shared, what's coming up from you in this moment?
When you said the when you quoted the thing about stress,
Hmm.
I was remembering a research that I was looking at that said that 75 to 85% of doctors' visits
Hmm.
are related to stress. And that's a huge number. And to think about how stress could be reduced if
Yes,
we take time for ourselves.
that's right.
If we take time for ourselves, like, wait, if I take time for myself, you mean my stress can go down? That it just seems like such an easy thing to do, but not so as the
Mhm,
unasked question, and
mhm.
maybe we can go there now because I want to say something about it.
Come on, talk about it. Talk about it. Now,
That
you-
you're gonna bring up, we'll point to.
okay, so what I'm going to do is take a moment to unmask our question, which says, what makes prioritizing yourself with mindful me time moments difficult? What makes prioritizing yourself with mindful me time moments difficult? Mm, mm, mm.
Mm,
Well,
mm, mm.
And
So
if Pam, if I could just take a moment and say, it's like, as we were sharing earlier, the one thing is that my old mantra was, it got to be done by such and such time, or who's going to do it if I don't do it?
mm,
Never ever realizing that I was putting myself on the back burner and those precious me time moments, that when I had some of the health challenges that I ran into down the road, it
mhm.
was a result of me doing just that.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, so because you had to get it done and you knew you were the only one to get it done, there really was no such thing. There really wasn't time for the me time moments. Is that what you're saying? You were just too busy?
I was too busy. I was too see the caveat. The word that you just used is called B. It's spelled Busy. I was busy that I was not realizing that I was not taking care of me. And my mind, when we talk about mindset, my mindset said I got to get this done by a certain time, or my
Mhm.
mindset said that nobody else could do it but me. That was what my mind told me. My body
Yeah.
was telling me something different, but I was too busy to listen to what my body was saying to me.
So you put all that other stuff first
Yes.
and you last
Yeah.
because you knew you had to get these things. Your mindset was, I got to get these things done, and I'm the only one to get them done. And as a result, some health consequences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My
And
first
there's
one was the high blood pressure. It was the high blood pressure was the first
right.
one. The
And
first
that's
one.
interesting because for you, it was you got to get things done. You got to get things done. You're the only one who can get it done. So me time, you got to wait.
Mhm.
And for me, it was something very different, almost on the other side of the scale or spectrum, which was I I didn't like me. So I'm not going to spend time with somebody I don't like. I did not like the
That's
me that I was.
that's
And who among us are willing to spend time with people we're not so crazy about? And I wasn't so crazy about Pamela Elaine Nichols. And I didn't like some of her ways. And it was only, I know I make this reference all the time, but going through a divorce really had a substantial impact on my sense of self and who
right.
I was. But it was also a wonderful thing, a beneficial thing, because when I did get my divorce, I had to look at, I could no longer look at him
Mhm.
as the problem. I had to start looking at myself.
Mhm.
And when I started looking at myself, Cheryl, I was like, I don't kind of like some of the ways that I act, some of the things I say sometimes, some of the attitude I come with sometimes. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And it was that
Yeah.
experience that made me decide I have got, so that was what was difficult for me. Prioritizing myself was difficult for me because I didn't like myself. But when I started looking at myself, I'm like, I want to know how to like her. I want to know how to like me. So I'm willing to spend time with me. And that's when I started going on that whole journey to self actualization, self improvement, so
Mhm.
that I could say, finally, I like me. I mean, I'm not perfect, and sometimes I can be a certain kind of way, but I generally like who I am and who I have become. So the difficulty in me time is less than, I'm not perfect with the me time,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
it's certainly more than I was giving myself back in the day.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the things that I could say, because, for those of you that don't know, Pamela Lane and I have a long-term relationship. Like we have been connected for some 20 plus years. So we know where the bodies are. Well, let's just say that we know where the bodies
You know
are.
where the dead bodies are.
And but what I will say is this, that is so authentic, is that when we could see each other's journey, and I've seen your journey of where you were to where you are now, and that's for both of us. We're not perfect in terms of our me time moments, but getting to that place where we can say, hey, I'm loving who I'm becoming and loving who I'm being versus I don't like that person. But she used a term of reference that I want to go back to. You said that you were going through a divorce, but how many of us, as you were saying that, what came up for me, how many of us, because of the busyness and feeling that we have to do this and that, and we're not like, we divorce ourselves from ourselves,
Mm,
from ourselves and what we need. What self needs is put on the back burner because we've divorced ourselves from ourselves. And it's like,
mm.
wow, how often do we do that unintentionally and not even recognize that we have done that?
Yeah,
That
that's so, and I'm gonna ask if Kayla wouldn't mind, our producer wouldn't mind putting back up the unmasked question for
yeah,
those who have just joined us, because I would like to know
yeah.
what those who are watching, what your answer is. What makes prioritizing yourself with mindful me time moments difficult? I mean, Cheryl, you shared yours, I shared mine. And I want to see if our audience can chime in on that as well, because there might be a whole other, something in between your end of the spectrum and my other end of the spectrum of why we don't we didn't prioritize ourselves. And
Wow.
I'm curious to know if, Cheryl, now that you've started prioritizing your me time, have you seen a difference in your health?
I absolutely have. One of the things I'll say is that I'm gonna give a shout out to my daughter. I don't know if she's watching or not, but my daughter does fantastic makeovers, and she did a makeover for me this past Saturday because my husband and I were going to an event, and she said, "Mom, your skin is absolutely beautiful. What are you doing?" And I'll tell you, I said, I do the same thing I always do. But what I'll tell you that I've started doing is I'm very intentional with my resting. Like
Mm,
when the sister got to go to sleep, she goes to sleep, and I sleep peacefully. But I think it has to do also with where my thoughts are when I'm resting. Like I
mm,
know I have things to do, but what happens is like that overwhelming. I had to kind of put that on the back burner and prioritize myself. And that when I tell you, I don't say this to toot my horn. But when I wake up in the morning, I literally go before, look, what is it that you want me to accomplish today? Because if I bring my rap sheet out, I have 25 things I gotta get this done, and only probably will get 2 or 3 of them done. But
Mm.
that just kind of letting that weight go. So I would have to say it's the sleep for me, because we can sometimes deprive ourselves of sleep. It's the sleep for me, the resting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll share something for me, what I've seen as a difference.
Mm-hmm.
So last Friday, I went to the Philadelphia Art Museum has Fridays now where you can go and visit the art museum and sip on wine and listen to great
Oh,
music.
girl.
So I took myself out. Okay, I took myself out to the Philadelphia Art. There was no one else that I was going with. I went with myself. It was a me time moment. Okay, took myself out, had a wonderful time. Girl, do you know I am such fun to be with?
You, absolutely.
It was so much fun. We had a good time together. I mean, the only time I brought out my phone was just to take a picture, selfie of me on a date with me. But learning to like me and therefore the difficulty of spending time with me is lessened has had a lot of wonderful impacts. One of which is I started this weight loss journey. I think I might have mentioned it before. And I have an accountability partner who's fabulous. She keeps me on track. Shout out to my accountability partner. I love you. Mwah. And I hope I keep her on track. But what I've noticed is because I'm liking myself more and more and more, that I am losing weight and my blood pressure has gotten so much better that
Yes.
my doctor said 2 weeks ago, you know what she said to me? She said, whatever you're doing, I want you to keep doing it because I dropped 10 pounds.
Come on.
I want you to keep doing that.
Send up the heart.
We're good. Give me some hearts.
Send up the
She said to me, we're going to reduce your blood pressure medicine in half. We'll see each other again in 3 months. And if you're still doing good, we're going to take you off of the blood pressure medicine. This is called what happens when you give yourself me time moments. If you
That's
don't like yourself like I didn't like myself, you
That's
learn
right.
to like yourself. You give yourself me time moments and you naturally
Yes.
taking
Yes.
care of yourself
Yes.
when you start liking yourself. And I'm just so excited about this. I really, really am. So let's see, we've got some comments here.
We do. I see. We have a lot of good afternoons. Hello, sisters, and I love that we divorce ourselves from ourselves. And someone says, "Yes, I love my company," and that is
Ooh,
so key. When you love yourself, you will spend time with yourself, doing what yourself needs, and that is powerful. That is so
yes, yes,
powerful.
yes, yes, yes. And so, if any of you all out there are struggling with me time moments, you're like Cheryl was,
Mhm.
or you're like I was, or you're somewhere in between that. We want to know what that is because maybe we can offer you some insight or some encouragement or
Yes,
just a lot of love
yes,
because sometimes we just need to stand in the gap to love you while
yes.
you learn to love yourself enough to give time to yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. You know, and one of the things, Pam, is I was listening to you when you were sharing how you had taken yourself to the art museum. And one of the things, and I'm going to say, because my sister is currently, and I say this with intentionality, she's currently single. But even for married women, I will say it is nothing wrong with your taking yourself out, because sometimes we can get so engrossed in the relationship that we
Ooh,
forget about ourselves. And I've
yes.
talked to many women, I've been doing this so long, I forgot. You cannot forget about yourself. So
Mm,
and I say it humbly. I have a husband that I know that loves me, but I sometimes take myself out, that I just want to go out by myself, me, myself, and Cheryl, because I've come to love her.
mm.
I've
You
come
know,
to love her, and I'll take her out.
I'm gonna tell you, Shirley, you hit on something so powerful here because the me time
Yes,
becomes the us time. And that's okay, but not in the absence of me time.
Say
Like,
it. Say it. Say
when
it.
I was married,
Mhm.
I didn't do me time. I mean, not really.
Mhm.
There wasn't enough us time because maybe if it had been, we'd still be married. But there really was no me time because I'm thinking in my head,
Mhm.
well, we're a couple now. There's no more I. It's only you. You know, you and me. And I think that
That's key.
I think that that's not healthy.
No, it's not. It is not. It is not. Because what happens, you lose your sense of who you are. And what happens is that we're supposed to complement one another. And if I'm so caught up in the us's, what about the me? And what
Mm,
about him? So
mm,
I'm real purposeful about taking time for myself, and I encourage our married sisters to do that as well. We see a comment in here. One of our sisters says, "I have to do better about responding to my needs right away and stop delaying it until I finish my to-do list." Oh yeah, that was a biggie for me. I'm telling you. Woo, me and that to-do list, I'm telling you, used to be like a rap sheet.
yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is not promised.
No, it's
It
not.
really isn't. So all you really, really have is today, right now. And I love how she said right away, because that's when it needs to happen. Right away, because right away is all you really have. Yes, we pray for a long, healthy, prosperous life.
Yes,
But
yes,
there are a lot of people who pray for that and are no longer here. I mean, every day you just turn on the news and people are out. You know, the temple officer, I'm sure he prayed for, who was recently shot.
yes.
I'm sure he prayed for a long, healthy life and safety and all that. And he's not here. So, and this is, I guess maybe I'm preaching to myself. I'm feeling really passionate about this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I have to remind myself, because I do the same thing, sister. I'm like, I'm gonna put that off. I'm gonna put that off. And then I was like, wait, how do
Mhm.
you know that tomorrow you'll be able to pick it back up? You don't even know. You have faith, but you don't really know. So I would encourage you, my sister,
Yeah, yeah.
to, if the unction hits you and you're like, I need to take care of me for a moment, even
Mhm.
if it's just 10 minutes,
Yes.
do it. It doesn't have to be a whole day. It doesn't have to be like me taking myself out to, the art museum for 2 hours. It just 10 minutes is enough.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, yeah. And Pam, as you shared that, we just want to whet the appetites of our viewers, but we can't wait. There's one project that we're working on, and it's built around selfish generosity, and the 10 minutes that Elaine just shared, that's one of the principles that is so important. It's like, take those 10 minutes. If it's just 10 minutes, I can't emphasize and piggyback enough on what she just said. It is valuable. Someone said, I agree. It is important to be a healthy me so I can be a better us, we,
Yes.
my marriage. That right there is so important. Somebody said, do you? There you go. Boom. Do you? You have
Wait,
to
do,
know
do,
when
do
to
you boo?
do
What's the guy's name who says, do you boo? What's that actor's name? Do you boo?
the,
Yeah.
how with the queen look, do you? Because what happens that you are so important. You are so important. And when you forget about yourself or you put yourself on a back burner, you put yourself at a disadvantage. And you do not want a medical necessity to be the requirement that puts you back in a place to recognize that you matter.
Yeah.
Every day we wake up, we should recognize we matter.
That's right. That's right. So I'm looking at the time, and we're going to have to get into our three takeaways, wrap those up really quickly so we can go in the raffle and say our goodbyes.
Okay, you want to go with the first one? Give them a first one.
Okay, the first one is express your needs. It's not anyone else's job to guess what you need. If you need free time to care for yourself, for your mental, emotional, and physical and spiritual health, express that need. And listen, if somebody can't meet that need for you, you can always meet the need for yourself.
No, that's it. The second one is learn how to say no.
No.
Is precious. If there is no emergency, it is not necessary to be at everyone's beck and call all the time. Even in an emergency,
Preach,
you don't
preach.
always have to be everyone's savior because we only have one.
Mm,
Make sure your cup is full before you pour from it. A
mm,
lack of planning, listen very carefully. A lack of planning on another party's part does not constitute an emergency on your part. So
mm.
learn how to say No.
Preach, girl. The third is make it a routine. So set aside time each week for yourself. And again, if it's only 10 minutes, 10 minutes is great. Schedule it. When you are in your me time, be present with yourself in the midst of your hectic schedule and everyday life, which means, sisters, you probably need to turn off your smartphone when you're in your me time.
I love that. I love that.
Yes. I like the comment we just got. Cheryl says, no is a complete sentence.
I know.
Right?
What?
Tell me about it. Okay, let's go into the raffle. Today's raffle is a 1 hour. I'm sorry, go ahead, Cheryl.
No. Go right ahead.
Raffle, 1 hour coaching session with Cheryl and me. You cannot go wrong when you're in the company of Cheryl and me, and we're focusing on you. Let's go.
We're going to go in.
Go in.
Okay. Congratulations. Woo! Congratulations, Angela.
And we just want to remind everyone that if you won a gift, a raffle, and you haven't received it, then that might mean we're missing some information from you. So just ping us or private message us or shout it out in the Facebook group, like, where my stuff? Where my raffle prize? And we'll get it to you. All right, so let's wrap this baby up. We want to know, are you sick and tired of being sick and tired with the direction your life isn't going? Are you frustrated that you aren't reaching your goals? Are you even embarrassed that you don't have any goals? Do you feel like everyone else is so far ahead of you in success and you will never, ever catch up? Do you lack faith in yourself? We know we got faith in God, hallelujah. But do you lack faith in yourself that you can achieve whatever you set your mind to achieve?
Yes.
Listen, Cheryl and I understand. We battle some of the same feelings and thoughts.
Yes.
That's why we created the Think Again Empowerment Coaching Program. Cheryl and I want to serve you. We want to help you get from where you are today to where you want to be by showing you where change really takes place.
Yes.
We have 4 coaching packages to serve you, and you can choose the best package based on your time and your budget. So email us at hellobeautiful@executivebeauty.net and let us know that you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you want Cheryl and me to help you get where you need to go. All right. Cheryl, any parting words?
Nothing, but we want you ladies to remember that whatever you do and all that you do, that you take meaningful, mindful moments to take time out for yourself. We will see you next Tuesday at the same time, at the same place for the same purpose, to provide you with something that's going to cause you to live better, to love better, and to feel better. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Bye.
And you can say that I'm crazy,